When we talk about Egypt, the first thing that comes to our mind are the pyramids and other interesting artifacts about ancient Egyptians. We already knew more about Egyptian history and how the pyramid built. We even saw how majestic the kingdoms and hieroglyphics of Egypt's ancestors. But we never talk about the traditional dishes that Egypt can offer to us. Now, we will try to find out what are the famous cuisines that this historic country can give, and check how delicious and surprising the dishes is. Let us begin digging like an archaeologist and check the wonders of Egyptian cuisines. Alexandrian liver and sausage. Egyptians get that liver fix, either from street food carts or fast food shops. Gathered around food carts at different street corners, they enjoy their stir-fried liver served in small plates with fresh chili peppers, lime wedges and warm pittas. For a quick bite or an order to go, they pick up their liver sandwiches made with Egyptian mini baguettes or bread rolls with sides of French fries and mixed pickles. The recipe for Alexandria-style liver is famous throughout Egypt. It's a quick and easy recipe that takes less than 30 minutes to prepare. The hardest step in preparing it is cutting the liver into small pieces, since this offal is quite slippery. The trick to save you time is to cut it up while it's frozen, then leave it to thaw. Baba Ganoush. Baba Ganoush is a Levantine appetizer of Lebanese origin consisting of mashed cooked eggplant, olive oil, lemon juice, various seasonings, and sometimes tahini. It may be served with onions, tomatoes, or other vegetables. The eggplant is traditionally baked or broiled over an open flame before peeling, so that the pulp is soft and has a smoky taste. It is a typical meze starter of the regional cuisine, often served as a side to a main meal and as a dip for pita bread. Traditionally, matabal is sometimes said to be a spicier version of baba ganoush. It consists of mashed cooked aubergines and tahini mixed with salt, pepper, garlic, lemon, olive oil, and added anna seeds. The baba is an Arabic word that means father, and is also a term of endearment, while ganoush could be a personal name. The word combination is also interpreted as father of coquetry, or indulged, pampered, flirtatious daddy, or spoiled old daddy. It is not certain whether the word baba refers to the eggplant, or to an actual person indulged by the dish. Baklava or goulash. Usually known as baklava around the world, Egypt has a different name for the layered phyllo dough dessert, goulash. In Turkey, Morocco and the Levant, it is stuffed with pistachios and other nuts and soaked in syrup. It is made in small canapé portions, as well as big sliced portions. Baklava is a traditional Egyptian dessert consisting of many layers of flaky pastry and spiced walnuts, covered in a sweet, orange blossom-flavored syrup, called a sharbat. The flavors meld together into one sweet treat. Some of the ingredients include ghee, orange blossom water and phyllo dough, not your typical ingredients. Basara. Egyptian basara is not just full of flavor, but it's also a super nutritious vegan dish, perfect for the Coptic fast. You can spread it on sandwiches for the lunchbox, or serve it as a dip with crispy baladi bread. Most traditional recipes suggest adding the greens at the beginning of the beans cooking process, but some prefer adding greens in the last 5 minutes in order to keep some of the crisp freshness. The dried mint helps regain that green color we all recognize this dish with. A creamy green puree prepared with parsley, dill, leek, ground beans, spices, green pepper and fried onions on top. A perfect meal for vegetarians. Fata. Egyptian fata. Spiced boiled lamb, beef served over a bed of rice and toasted pita bread, then served with garlicky warm tomato sauce. A feast in your mouth. This is a traditional Egyptian food to celebrate any occasion, especially in Eid al-Adha when lamb recipes are in full swing like these lamb chops. Fata is also served at weddings, gatherings, Ramadan and celebrating a new baby. Fata is very popular in the Middle East with different names and ingredients like chicken shawarma fata or this eggplant fata. Feta mushaltet. Feta mushaltet is layers upon layers of pastry dough with loads of ghee or butter in between. It is one of the famous Egyptian pastry recipes that everyone loves. It represents generosity and affection. Nowadays, it is a dish that is asked by kings and presidents who visit Egypt. One of the traditional old food, fita is a light, flaky multi-layered bread made from dough stretched paper thin and folded several times. It is served stuffed with minced meat or cheese or just plain brushed with samne or dusted with icing sugar. Ful medames, the traditional Egyptian breakfast of dried fava beans, is also the national dish, eaten at all times of the day, in the fields, in village mudhouses, and in the cities. Restaurants serve it as a meze, and it is sold in the streets. Vendors put the beans in large, round, narrow-necked vessels, which they bury through the night in the dying embers of the public baths. Ful medames is pre-Ottoman and pre-Islamic. It is probably as old as the pharaohs. According to an Arab saying, beans have satisfied even the pharaohs. Egyptians gleefully tell you that the little brown beans have been found in pharaonic tombs and have been made to germinate. There are many types of dried fava beans, small, middle-sized, and large, all of which can be used, and there are very good quality canned ones. Most expatriates are happy with canned ones, which they improve on with flavorings and trimmings. Hawashi. Hawashi is a traditional food in Egypt. It's a bread, something similar to pita bread, that is usually filled with minced meat, onion, pepper. Hawashi is perhaps best known as a staple of home-style Egyptian cooking to make you feel good. Straight from my Egyptian kitchen, this hawashi recipe is made with crispy pita pockets that are stuffed with a tantalizing meat mixture with onions, hot peppers and fresh herbs. Think of it as Egypt's answer to a hamburger but on steroids. Kebab and kofta, flame-grilled chunks of lamb kebab, and spiced minced meat made into a sausage and grilled on a skewer kofta, are a favorite Egyptian food meal. It is typically eaten with a simple chopped tomato and cucumber salad and a disc of flatbread. It consists of minced lamb, mutton, veal or beef, or a mixture of some of these meats with herbs, often including parsley and mint, on a sis grilled. Sis koft is typically served with palav and a salad. Cashari. Cashari is Egypt's national dish and a widely popular street food. An Egyptian dish that originated during the mid-19th century, the dish combines Italian and Middle Eastern culinary elements. Cashari is made of rice, macaroni, and lentils mixed together, topped with a spiced tomato sauce and garlic vinegar and garnished with chickpeas and crispy fried onions. It is often served with sprinklings of garlic juice, garlic vinegar and hot sauce are optional. Cashari used to be sold on food carts in its early years, and was introduced to restaurants later. This dish is widely popular among workers and laborers, and the dish is well suited to mass catering events such as conferences. It may be prepared at home, and is also served at roadside stalls and restaurants all over Egypt. As traditionally prepared cashari does not contain any animal products, it can be considered vegan, as long as all frying uses vegetable oil. Marshy. Marshy is one of the main platters in Egyptian banquets, especially in Ramadan, when friends and family gather to have iftar at sundown. It is by far the most common dish in Egypt and the Middle East, along with the cashari. It is an inexpensive meal, if you did not serve meat with it, so it is eaten by the poor and the rich in Egypt. Marshy is basically veggies stuffed with rice mixture. It has been always a rocket science for me, especially the stuffed grape leaves and cabbage rolls, as they require some skills in rolling them. But once you get the hang of it, you will stuff almost any veggies you like. Just give it a try and you will see for yourself. Malukia. Malukia, also known as malukia, mulakia, or molokia, is a hallmark of Middle Eastern cuisine. Malukia translates to Jew's mallow, and is a leafy green vegetable that turns into an almost gelatinous, some would say a little slimy, stew when cooked. Every region does it a little differently, with the Egyptian version usually having tomato in it. This is more of a Palestinian, Lebanese take. Even within a certain country, every household has its own version of malukia. Ras Myanmar. Ras Myanmar is an Egyptian dish prepared with a combination of cooked white rice, milk, butter or cream, and chicken broth. After all the ingredients have been combined in a traditional clay pot called a bram, the mixture is baked in the oven. Baked rice in clay pots, loaded with butter, milk, and cream, can be savory or sweet. Myanmar rice in one of the authentic, traditional Egyptian rice recipes. Myanmar means loaded, and as you can see authentically, this rice is loaded with full cream, ghee and full-fat milk. The slow cooking of rice in the oven gives it a lot of time to soak up all these flavors, to come up unique, fluffy, and tastes heavenly good. Sayadaya. Sayadaya is a seasoned fish and rice dish that originates in Lebanon. The word sayadaya roughly translates to catch, so it basically means a fisherman's catch. One trademark of the dish is the spice mixture used to season the rice and the fish. It's often sold as ready pre-mixed fish spices. Traditionally, this would be made with whole fish, and the bones of the fish would be turned into a stock that the rice is cooked in. This is a lot of work and time consuming, but there is an easy cheat version of sayadaya using fish fillets. Tamaya, falafel, or tamaya as they call it in Egypt, is an all-time favorite street food. In most parts of the Middle East, falafel is made with ground chickpeas. However, in Egypt, they make it with dried fava beans. They are best served with pita bread, tomato, onions, and tahini sauce. Tamaya is made with mashed fava beans and parsley, instead of chickpeas, which are used elsewhere around the Mediterranean. It is made in the shape of flat discs rather than round balls and is typically eaten as a sandwich with salad. So, now that you have seen some of the delicious traditional dishes from Egypt, you have to try to visit not only the place of this historic country but also try their impressive cuisines. Book your next trip and visit the wonderful and magnificent Egypt. Thank you for watching this video of some of your favorite country dishes. Hope you enjoy. See you in our next exploration video about foods around the world.